You are thinking right now. Sentences are forming in your mind before you even realize you're forming them. If someone asked you to stop thinking in words for 60 seconds, you would probably find it impossible. Language isn't something you use. It runs underneath everything you do, underneath your memory, your planning, your sense of who you are in relation to everyone around you. For the first 2 million years of human existence, that wasn't there. The ancestors who made the first stone tools, who buried their dead, who crossed entire continents on foot, they did all of that in a state we have never personally inhabited. When researchers started asking what that actually looked like, the answer broke apart the assumption that silence meant emptiness. Archaeologists working at Homo heidelbergensis sites in Spain, dated to roughly 400,000 years ago, found not scattered remnants of solitary scavengers, but coordinated elephant kills. Massive animals brought down by groups working in formation, in specific locations, using a level of tactical organization that requires timing, positioning, and the ability to signal across open ground in real time, all without a spoken word. The assumption that prelinguistic humans existed in a kind of mental fog runs into serious trouble in Spain. If you're enjoying this so far, hit the like button and subscribe. It genuinely helps. Drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. I actually read them. In 2012, primatologist Michael Tomasello published findings from the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology showing that shared intentionality, the ability to track what another mind is attending to, predates spoken language by a wide margin in our lineage. The gesture came first. The shared gaze came first. Two individuals tracking the same object, each aware the other is tracking it too. That cognitive loop was running before speech existed. Language found a cognitive connection already present and extended it. Ancient humans weren't waiting for language to start communicating with each other. They already were, using every channel available to them, and some of those channels were considerably more sophisticated than we've been comfortable admitting. Evidence from sites at Atapuerca in northern Spain, dated at 430,000 years old, shows bodies carried deep into cave systems and deliberately placed, not abandoned where they fell. That behavior doesn't emerge from an empty social world. It emerges from something that already understood loss, that already felt the difference between a living person and the absence of one. Carrying a body deep into a cave is not a reflex. It is a choice made on behalf of someone who can no longer make choices. In 1997, archaeologist Davidson at the University of New England argued the relationship ran the other way. Human thought created the pressure that made language necessary. As groups grew larger, as the information passing between individuals became too dense for gesture alone, speech became the answer to a problem that had been building for 1,000,000 years. The brain of Homo erectus 2 million years ago had already developed Broca's area, the region now linked to language production in modern humans. The architecture was present. The social pressure hadn't yet made it indispensable. For 2 million years, a mind was thinking in a body that could not yet speak. Every cognitive process we now assume is built from words was running on something older, something the words came later to describe. The words are a relatively recent addition. If this is making you think, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss one. This channel only exists because of the people who share these videos. And I don't take that lightly. And if all of that is true, then the more interesting question is what language actually gave us when it finally arrived. The answer is scale. The ability to move thoughts across distances they couldn't otherwise cross. Gesture and shared gaze can coordinate a group of 8 or 10, A fishing technique discovered in one valley cannot reach a community 3,000 miles away through gesture alone. Knowledge tied to physical presence dies when the person holding it dies. Language solved a problem of distance and time. The thoughts didn't need language. The transmission of those thoughts did. Once speech arrived, every discovery made in one generation could reach the next. Knowledge that would have died with the person who held it could now cross continents and centuries, but the experiencing and grieving and planning predated all of it. In 2015, a team led by paleoanthropologist Lee Berger announced the discovery of Homo naledi in South Africa, a species with a brain roughly a third the size of a modern human's. Inside the Rising Star cave system, the remains were found deep underground, in chambers reachable only by crawling through passages barely wider than a human shoulder. The team's conclusion, still debated, was deliberate body deposition. A small-brained species, with no confirmed language, carried its dead somewhere difficult and specific. Getting into those chambers required crawling through near-total darkness, through openings too narrow for most adults to pass comfortably. No animal does that by accident. It required something that recognized the dead as worth the effort. That is not instinct. The idea that meaningful ritual required language turns out to be an assumption about sequence the evidence doesn't support. Something already understood why the dead were different from the living before it had words to say why. And if something that small-brained, that far from us in every direction, already grasped that difference, then we have badly underestimated how deep the inner life runs and how long ago it started. We have spent a long time assuming our inner lives were built from language, that grief required speech, that recognizing another person's mind required words. The evidence coming out of Spain, Atapuerca, and the Rising Star cave system suggests the reverse. The inner life was already fully formed. Early humans were clearly thinking. What language changed was how far a thought could travel. Before speech, a discovery could reach as far as a gesture could carry it. After speech, it could cross centuries. What ancient humans had before language was everything that makes us want language in the first place. The awareness of other minds, the need to be understood, the weight of losing someone. Those needs existed before language arrived to meet them. You are thinking right now. That ability is roughly 100,000 years old at the outside. The mind underneath it is 2 million years older, and it was already working on the same questions, pulling in the same directions, feeling the same weight. In a silence we can barely imagine, with the same urgency, the words arrived late. Everything that needed them was already there. Thank you for watching until the end. If this changed how you see something, check out the videos on screen. I think they will hit the same way. And subscribe if you haven't. See you in the next one.